What's up, everybody? Louie here. Quick recap: UFC 291. I did okay. I went 8-3. Horrible start to the card. Ended up getting every fight right on the main card, so I went 5-0 on the pay-per-view. Don't know how that happened, but we did okay. Struggled. The first fight of the night, women's flyweight, Miranda Maverick and Priscilla Cachoeira. Stupid pick. I picked Priscilla Cachoeira. She was an underdog. No, but Miranda Maverick, she bounced back almost better than ever, and her grappling is improving. It's still pretty solid for the division, and she got the submission victory. So, and then at welterweight, 170, Matt Summelsberger, Uros Medic. Again, I did that thing where I picked the wrong underdogs. And Matt Summelsberger was a decent favorite, like minus 180. And then Uros Medic, pretty sizable underdog. I went with Matt Summelsberger just because I thought he could get it done. And he looked good. He has power in his hands. He drops people early. He dropped them twice in the first round. Looked really good. Second round, Uros Medic starts to find his range a little bit. Keeps him on the outside. Then in the third round, things are going okay. Pretty even fight. Maybe Summelsberger's even ahead. And then he just kind of rushes in. Uros Medic lands a beautiful counter hook combination. Rocks him pretty bad. Gets him with the spinning back fist. TKO. So that was a tough one to swallow. I was really high on Matt Summelsberger, and he didn't get it done. And for that price tag, I shouldn't have bet him. But, picked the wrong underdog on that one. So, that's my fault. Not a good start to the night. And then at welterweight, Jake Matthews and Darius Flowers. I decided to take an underdog shot on Darius Flowers. He was making his debut on short notice, plus 230. Don't know why I picked him. Looking back on it. But, he was able to get it done. Looked pretty good early on. He was able to rush Matthews, hurt him a little bit, and he was actually able to get the takedown toward the end of the round. Get on top of him, didn't do a ton of damage, but he looked good. But we all kind of know he's first rounder bust. Then in the second round, he starts getting a little desperate, starts taking desperate shots, takes an overextended shot. Matthews is able to stuff it, gets him out, and he's able to get back mount and get the rear naked choke from around the back, from mount, and tough one. But Darius Flowers, he did what he did. I thought it was a decent underdog pick, just not the right one. So, maybe it was kind of stupid. He was coming in on short notice. I don't know. I thought I'd have luck with short notice guys. Then middleweight, 185, Roman Kopylov, cardio, Ribeiro. Got that one right. I was a little nervous on this one because Kopylov was a pretty big favorite, minus 210. And I knew Claudio Ribeiro had a lot of power in his hands. He could finish the fight in any moment. But Kopylov looked good. He was able to keep his distance, land his jabs, land his straight shots, utilize those kicks. Ribeiro clipped him a couple times in the first round, so I was getting a little nervous. But then in the second round, Kopylov kind of puts it all together. It seemed like he took a round to download the data. Gets a head kick knockout. Who would have thought? What a victory. So, finally on the win train at this point. And then a flyweight, CJ Vergara, Vinicius Salvador. That was a close one, split decision. I thought CJ got it done, but Salvador didn't get tired like I thought he would. Salvador missed weight coming into this fight, so that kind of worried me. And, it looked like missing weight in this case was an advantage for him. I thought he'd get tired up at altitude. He really didn't. And kind of a back-and-forth fight. I thought CJ Vergara landed more volume. He was landing the cleaner strikes. Salvador would land some big shots occasionally. He would kind of rock him a little bit or land a big flurry here and there, but he was just messing around too much, and CJ Vergara was able to keep the pressure on him and was able to do the more effective striking over the course of 3 rounds and got it done, split decision. I was pretty confident he was going to win, but you never know with the judges, but that was a good feeling to get that one. And then welterweight, at 170, the prelim main event, Gabriel Bonfim and Trevin Giles. I went with Gabriel Bonfim. Again, an even more sizable favorite on this one. Gabriel Bonfim was minus 340, so that was a tough one. I didn't really know what props to pick, but I went with the under 1.5, minus 195, not a bad one. Then I went for KO, plus 225. I threw the decision in there just because, I don't know why. But, not much to report in this fight. Gabriel Bonfim is the real deal. First round, Bonfim just kind of presses forward. He lands some hooks and a straight flurry. And then he's able to get the clinch, hit a drag by, or duck under, pass by, gets around the back, gets him down to the mat, pulls the guillotine, gets a submission. So, yeah, knockout didn't work. Actually, knockout didn't work out for me. I thought he was gonna knock out, but yeah. He's got submissions too. He's a first round finisher. Trevin Giles, not like the biggest competition, but you know, if you can finish him in the first round, that's pretty impressive. And he got a slick guillotine submission within, you know, a short time frame. So he got it done. Gabriel Bonfim, he's a real deal at welterweight. A lot of good matchups for him. You know, they could put him against Daniel Rodriguez maybe if they wanted to, because, you know, he's not in the rankings anymore. So, but yeah, a very promising prospect. First fight on the main card, welterweight, 170 pounds. Kevin Holland, Michael Chiesa. I went with Kevin Holland. A little bit of a steep price tag. I was really debating on whether or not to throw the dog money on Chiesa. I thought maybe the line was wrong, but no, the line couldn't have been better. Retrospect, minus 145 for Kevin Holland's performance was a steal. Did not expect that submission, especially not in the first round, but he got it done. I should have been on Kevin Holland on sub, but, you know, I got the fight right at least. A really good performance from Kevin Holland. First round, Kevin just rushes in with a couple straight shots. A couple of different times, he's landing those blitzes. Michael just looked like he was stuck in the mud, just could not get going. Kevin's able to stuff the single and the double leg up against the fence, which was like the big question of this matchup, and he was able to do it. Then she has to rush him with a couple overhands, but then Kevin was able to pull that tie clinch, lands a couple knees to the head. Kind of hurts him a little bit, gets him down on the ground, and then pulls that Darce submission, gets a submission in the first round. Kevin Holland submitted Michael Chiesa. What a victory. Michael Chiesa was ranked number 12, so Kevin Holland's in the rankings, and which is interesting because if he would have beat Wonderboy, like a lot of people thought he was going to, he would have been up at number 7. So I think in retrospect, this might even be better for his career. He gets a little more time to develop here and see what he can do at welterweight without taking on the cream of the crop, which he would have had to. So, and Michael Chiesa number 12. I mean, you could do Kevin Holland and Neil Magny. I don't know. Again, I don't know what they're doing with Jack Della Maddalena and Ian Gary. I don't know if they want to match those 3 guys up against each other. Maybe Michel Perreira versus Kevin Holland. That'd be a fun fight if he wants to do it. I don't know if Perreira is going to fight at welterweight ever again, though. That's disappointing. I'm thinking maybe Sean Brady taking on Kevin Holland. That could be a fun one. I don't know what Sean Brady's been up to. I know he's scheduled to fight Jack Della Maddalena. That didn't work out, so you could do that, or you could do Kevin Holland and Jeff Neal. Kevin Holland has a win over him, so yeah, a couple different things for him, but to submit the number 12 ranked guy and a veteran of the game like Michael Chiesa in the first round, sky's the limit for him. He's got a lot of options, so I'm very excited to see what he does in this weight class. I think he's found a new home 170. Second fight of the night, 155 pounds, Tony Ferguson and Bobby Green. I went with Bobby Green, and I was stressing this the entire time, and even watching the fight, I was stressing. I thought I still felt like Tony Ferguson could hit him with a big shot and drop him in any time. Bobby Green has been a little chinny, but yeah, Bobby Green did what I thought he would do. Basically, just stayed at range and kind of picked him apart the whole fight pretty much. Tony got a couple good shots in, but something that really surprised me is Bobby was able to stay on the ground with Tony Ferguson. Whenever Tony went for those Imanari rules, Bobby stayed on the ground, landed a ton of big shots, didn't gas himself out. Bobby Green doesn't really wrestle, and he had cardio for days in that area, so really good performance from Bobby Green. Tony Ferguson looked okay. Definitely gave it his all. In the first round, Bobby just kind of rushes with some straights and some hooks in the pocket. And then Tony's looking for those counter hooks. Remember, Bobby's coming in. Bobby's able to defend the double leg, lands a couple straight shots. And then Tony drops him with the right hook off a leg kick. Bobby said he was off balance. So I don't know. When I was watching it, it looked like he dropped him. But, you know, Bobby did get right back up. So who knows? And then Bobby starts landing some 1-2s. Then Tony kind of misses these hooks. He's like loading up a little bit, kind of missing with some overhands. Bobby starts landing some head and some body kicks out of range. And Bobby lands a couple counter hooks when they get in the pocket. Second round, Bobby's able to stuff the Imanari roll. Heavy ground and pound, stacks him, takes his time. He's super careful not to get caught up in a submission. Just lands bombs on Tony Ferguson. But Bobby Green's not the biggest power puncher, obviously. But Tony Ferguson is still tough as hell, even at this advanced age. And he was just eating punches on the ground. Back on my feet, Bobby's landing some straights, starts adding some hooks into the mix. Like he does, likes to add things. Later on as the fight progresses to his combinations, Tony's landing some counter straight shots at the end of the round, but then Bobby kept moving back and landing some straight shots, and Tony was kind of walking into them. Then in the third round, Bobby is backing up, lands a couple straight shots. Tony's really missing his hooks. Tony's a little more desperate at this point, starts stalking him even more aggressively, misses most of them, and then Bobby's able to duck some of the hooks, land some jabs, follows with the overhand to complete the combo. Then Tony landed a hook up against the fence, and then Bobby's able to get the clinch, gets around the back. Tony kind of rolls again, trying to go for either a Granby or an Imanari, and then Bobby's able to keep his hips over top of him, land into side control, get the arm triangle from Mount. Then he's able to actually go to the side. It wasn't even a submission. There was 9 seconds left to go. Tony Ferguson did not tap out. Tony Ferguson passed out because he's a gangster. But it goes down on the record books as Bobby Green by submission. Who would have thought? I wish I would have had that one. Yeah, that's kind of like an ironic bet, I guess, or something you just do because like you never think it's going to happen, and then you put money on it and it happens. But I didn't have that. I would have had Bobby Green by KO, but I had the over 2.5 minus 135. So even though I did kind of have to stress on that one a little bit, but that one hit for minus 135. So you got some better odds on that one. But Bobby Green looked absolutely phenomenal in that fight, and Tony Ferguson proved that he can still fight. So, but it sucks because it's 6 losses in a row. He's taking so much damage. I personally don't want to see him fight anymore. It's a hard pill to swallow, but it is what it is. And, you know, Bobby Green doesn't look that great either, but certainly looks better than Tony. Certainly looked a lot faster. Tony just looked a little bit slow, a little behind the 8 ball. But for Bobby Green, finally got that big win. They could do the Jared Gordon matchup again if they want to. I don't know if they want to do that one. But I think Bobby Green's in that like veteran category as well. So some fun fights. If you want to match them up like that, you could do Jim Miller. And, you know, Jared Gordon. Let's see. Maybe Brad Riddell, when Brad Riddell comes back, would be a decent one. But, yeah. I mean, if Bobby Green wants to get in the rankings, I mean, they could do Bobby Green and Matt Frivola. I mean, I think that's a winnable matchup for him. But, yeah. Or, you know, Bobby Green and Terrence McKinney. But Terrence McKinney probably has to win a fight first. But that'd be a hell of a banger. But lots of options for Bobby Green. And then featured fight of the night at heavyweight 265 pounds. You had Derrick Lewis taking on Marcos Rogerio de Lima. I went with Derrick Lewis. And when I first heard about this fight, I thought Derrick Lewis might be washed. Not even close. Thank God I did not bet on Marcos Rogerio de Lima at minus 225. Derrick Lewis at plus 190 against a guy that isn't even in the rankings. You got to take that all day. And he got it done. Personally, they're up at altitude. I thought maybe, you know, Derrick's on a bit of a losing streak. His job's on the line. I thought maybe he'd try to drag this fight out a little longer. I thought Derrick Lewis was going to rest a little bit. Derrick Lewis is not a wrestler. Derrick Lewis, flying knee immediately off the bat, drops him, some massive ground and pound. It gets around his back, ground and pound around the back, TKO, vicious bombs from the top position from Derrick Lewis. Could it get any worse for Marcos? But he got it done. Derrick Lewis showed that he's still relevant in this division. I think his limits are probably the bottom 10. Like, he could probably get anywhere up to number 10. And, you know, he can, like, destroy guys. Like, Marcos was right on the cusp of getting ranked, I believe. And Derrick Lewis ran right through him. So, yeah, Derrick Lewis, you know, he's still probably going to have a whole nother contract. And there's still fun fights for him, still winnable fights. He hasn't lost his touch. He just been fighting really good guys in retrospect. So, Derrick Lewis right now, he's number 11. And then Marcin Tybura is right above him. I say you do that fight right away. Maybe it's not the most fun fight, but it's a fight that he can win, I think. Or you do Derrick Lewis and Jairzinho Rozenstruik. I think the fans want to see that one. Jared Rozenstruik right below him. So, a couple different options for him. Actually talking about now, Derrick Lewis and Rozenstruik. Sign me up. Violence. Then the co-main at 205 pounds of men's light heavyweight, Jan Blachowicz, Alex Pereira. Close line either way, minus 110. I went with Alex Pereira. Didn't think it'd be a split decision, but he got it done. Close fight. Don't think it should have been a split. I think Alex Pereira wins rounds 2 and 3 all day. Still a pretty competitive fight. Jan Blachowicz showed that he's not going to win a title, but he's still an elite gatekeeper, still a tough test. Alex Pereira to beat Jan Blachowicz and show off that grappling defense. His first fight in the weight class looked promising. I think Alex can challenge for a title. On the first round, Jan gets a single to the fence like right away, and Alex pulls that guillotine, but I guess it isn't really tight at all. And then Jan hits that crackdown, takes his back, gets a figure four, multiple rear naked choke attempts. He has the neck crank a few times, but Alex is able to survive. So, very stressful round. Then in the second round, Alex starts landing his leg kicks, starts landing some jabs, some counter hooks. And then Jan's able to duck one of the hooks and gets a double up against kind of close to the fence, but then Alex is able to use his intelligence and get his back up against the wall, able to wall walk. And they kind of get into a pummel battle. He's able to get out of it. And he's able to land a jab and then get the underhook in the clinch. Then Alex starts landing some jabs and some hooks. And then Jan starts landing a couple wide counter hooks to the body. Then Alex starts pressing and he lands lead left hook, follows it up with some uppercuts whenever they get into the pocket, whenever Jan is a little close to him. Up against the fence, he's able to stuff a lot of the shots, and you can tell Jan's getting a little tired at this point. And then in the third round, Alex goes back to his leg kicks, jabs, lands a couple counter hooks. Jan's loading up, kind of looking for a big shot, also trying to set up a takedown. And then Jan rushes with the hooks. Alex is able to get out of the way of those. Then Alex is stuffing these shots. Jan's kind of shooting from even more far away at this point. Then Alex hurts him with the jab. Not pretty bad, but rocks him a little bit. Then Jan's able to get the crackdown, though, from space, able to reach out and get it. That snatch single. Gets it a full guard. Doesn't land any ground and pound at all. He's on top of him for 30 seconds. Not enough to win the round. Alex did the majority of the damage on the feet. Jan landed a couple good counters. Alex wins round 2 and 3 all day. So, what should happen next? As we all know, 205 is a complete mess. So, Yuri Prochazka gave up the belt. Jamal Hill gave up the belt. So, Alex Perreira should fight for the title. They never declared what this fight was for. I assumed it was for a title shot next, whoever that's going to be against. But I guess Yuri's coming back. But you also got Magomed Ankalaev and Johnny Walker fighting soon, I think in Abu Dhabi, And, that's going to set up the next number one contender. But, I don't know. I don't know who's coming back. I guess if Yuri doesn't come back in time, they're going to wait for Ankalaev and Johnny Walker and then have that fight for a vacant title. Don't really know, but he's got to fight for the title next. Can he beat Magomed Ankalaev? I think so. I mean, Magomed Ankalaev should have won, but it was a close fight anyway. And, Alex Perreira is going to get even more grappling training in with Glover. And we all saw how bad Jan hurt Ankalaev with those leg kicks. Alex Perreira's got some pretty nasty leg kicks himself. I think he can beat Magomed Ankalaev. I'd give him a chance to beat any guy. I'm not saying it's going to be an easy fight. I'm not saying he's definitely going to beat anybody, but I think he could do it. And then against Yuri Prochazka, I don't think Yuri Prochazka is going to be able to take him down, or if he does, he's not going to be able to hold him down. Yuri Prochazka is not a wrestler. I give Alex Perreira a chance to win the title against anybody. So, very excited for that. Very good debut for him. I think moving up 205 is the right move. He looked fresh. Cardio had up throughout the whole fight, pretty much. Main event at 155 pounds, men's lightweight. Dustin Poirier and Justin Gaethje. I went with Justin Gaethje because this was a coin flip fight, in my opinion. They fought 5 years ago. It was a competitive fight up until Dustin Poirier finished him, but they both beat the shit out of each other. We all assumed it'd be a similar fight this time around, and Justin Gaethje was plus 130. So I went with that one, but I also picked over 2.5 rounds. Didn't get there. Still a good pick, in my opinion, minus 130, but what are you going to do? But, Justin Gaethje gets the victory. Really good fight for as long as it lasted, but Justin Gaethje, he was able to rise up another level somehow. In the first round, Justin lands some leg kicks. He's able to land some counter hooks. But then Dustin starts pressing with some jabs, and Dustin rocks him with the hook a little bit, but you know how Justin Gaethje is. But then Justin's landing some body and some head kicks. And this was new because everybody was thinking Justin was just, going to pump out those leg kicks like he always does. But right away, I was like, oh man, he's throwing body kicks and head kicks. He's trying to set him up for the head kick later on. And he threw him a couple of times in this round, in the first round. And I knew he was going to come back, but I thought Poirier would be hip to it. I didn't know it would play that significant of a role in the fight. Then Dustin rocks him with the jab up against the fence. And then Dustin was able to land a straight left out of range. And they both kind of land hooks in the pocket, kind of go back and forth at the end of the first round. I thought you'd give Dustin the edge in the first round, but it was close. It was competitive, like kind of what we expected. Nobody's really winning the fight. Then in the second round, Dustin starts pressing with some jabs. Justin lands some lunge hooks to the body and the head, stepping in, digging to the body. And then Dustin's walking towards him. Justin's kind of has his back toward the fence, and he lands that head kick. And Poirier reached out to parry it. It looked like he might have thought it was going to the body, and it wrapped all the way around his head and knocked his ass out. And who the hell knocks out Dustin Poirier in recent memory? And since when does Justin Gaethje throw head kicks? So, yeah, pretty interesting fight. It was fun for as long as it lasted. Didn't see that one come in. I thought maybe somebody might get finished in the 4th or 5th round, but not in the second round. So, not in the beginning of the second round. So, very interesting. But they both still have it. There's still fun fights for Dustin Poirier. He can fight anybody he wants, pretty much. And Justin Gaethje, I think he should fight for the title next. They're going to do Charles Oliveira and Islam Makhachev. Justin should fight the winner of that, because he defended his spot against an up-and-comer and Rafael Fiziev, and then he just won this big fight, knocked out Dustin Poirier. Who does that? So he deserves a title shot, whether it be Oliveira or Makhachev. Justin Gaethje, the top 5 at 155. He won 2 fights in a row. He deserves to fight for the title. Who knows what they're going to do with Volkanovski, but assuming, well, whatever happens in that title fight, they'll probably do a trilogy if Charles beats Islam. But after that, Justin Gaethje's got to fight for the title. But yeah, 155. You think this whole crop's going to take over the older guys? Maybe not. Maybe they're sticking around for longer than we think. Maybe Justin Gaethje gets 3 title shots. Who knows? But 155 is exciting, and they keep putting on exciting fights. And I'm excited to see what happens with the championship a year from now. So overall, I thought it was a really good card. I thought the Derrick Lewis card on the pay-per-view was a great call. I think it just gave it a boost of energy. Every fight was fun. The worst fight was the co-main event, but it was a technical chess match, and everybody understood the importance of this fight since there's a vacant title, and it was Perreira's first fight at 205. It was good enough. It was a decent fight. And then the main event just blew the roof off the place. So, very excited. And for not having a major championship in the main event, it was a fun fight. So, no complaints here. Next week, you got Corey Sandhagen taking on replacement Rob Font. 2 top guys at 135 bantamweight. Can't go wrong. So, thanks for riding with me. Finally did good this week. I'm going to carry this momentum into next week and hopefully have a perfect week. I wasn't too far off this week. If I could just make a couple adjustments and pick the right underdogs, maybe I could do it. So, thanks, everyone.